Michael Brown lost his life in August 2014. The Brown family has struggled to heal, find peace, and to walk forward. With this situation, the media has reported all of the different things that happened with the protest, and I am not here to exploit what happened to you. I am here in hopes that the Spirit of God will use me to bring some healing to your heart, some advice so you can handle those emotions, and to really come together and see some significant suggestions made to help you to go on in your life. Hello, I'm Creflo, and I want to take the time to welcome you to a very special and significant edition of Your World. Now today, I want to pause and bring to you an issue that is playing out in the news and in our communities every day. As I stand here today, we celebrate achievements of the Black race in America. In fact, decades after the historic and revolutionary struggles of the Civil Rights Movement of the 50s and 60s, the advancement of the Black race in America is compelling. Now, African Americans hold high positions in American business. A Black man occupies the presidency of this great land, and African Americans hold prominent places in government, education, and the social sector. Yet, despite the progress that we celebrate, there still remains a toxic tension between Black America and the law enforcement community. Whether it's the events in Ferguson, Missouri, and the shooting of Michael Brown, or the more recent death of Eric Garner, it seems the mistrust and anxiety between Blacks and the police are at an all-time high. These tragic events have put a new spotlight on an old issue that we must address. We need healing as a community, as a nation. We need to come together. Now, my prayer is that through today's program, we can begin the journey towards recovery, healing, and reconciliation. We must come together, respect each other, and learn the lesson that all life matters. And I hope to initiate just that with this special two-part Your World program as I sit with the family of Michael Brown and their attorneys to discuss healing, restoration, and solutions to bring grace into the conversation. I expect these programs to be thought-provoking, controversial, emotional, but most of all, I expect this program will introduce change. With your help, ladies and gentlemen, it can happen. Stay tuned for this special edition of Your World.
Changing one life, time after time. Oh Lord, we do it all for you.
Through the trials I see, I'll always believe a new life starts with you.
Oh, change your world today. Change is gonna come your way. Change and get an understanding. His grace will transform you.
I hope you're locked in as we get ready to open up the conversation as I sit here today with the family of Michael Brown, who lost his life in August 2014. Now, since then, the Brown family has struggled to heal, find peace, and to walk forward. Please welcome with me Michael Brown's parents, Michael Brown Sr. and Leslie McSpadden, and their attorney, Darrell Parks and Benjamin Crump. One of the things that we want to do today is we want you to invite us into your world. With this situation, the media has reported all of the different things that happened with the protest, and I am not here to exploit what happened to you. I am here in hopes that the Spirit of God will use me to bring some healing to your heart, some advice so you can handle those emotions, and to really come together and see some significant suggestions made to help you to go on in your life. The thing that is so important, that really grieved me when I saw all of the media attention it was getting, I was thinking about the parents. I just wanted to make sure people understood the hurt and the pain from any parent that, first of all, loses a child, but to lose a child this way, it makes you feel powerless because you can't change the circumstance. It's like, what can I do? I want him back.
I still don't accept it, and I don't think I ever understand it. But I'm learning to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And it's hard. Mm-hmm. He got brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And looking at them and listening to them every day talk about, the last thing they might have did with him or said to him. Mm-hmm. It's hard.
It's hard for everyone, that's why I say it's a lot. It's a lot of explaining that we have to do as parents to our kids when they get older, to try to get them to understand not why did this happen, but to make it understandable to them so they won't be so angry. I can see that now with the children, and like I said, we have to just be strong for all of them.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing a good job. I think you're doing a good job in light of the situation. I just want the audience to understand and to have a sensitivity of what you're going through as parents. This is not just, oh, well, a black kid was killed and, oh, well, let's go to the next situation.
No,
this is a part of your flesh. You never really get over it, but there's a way you can cope with it. And the grace of God is there to do things for you you can't do for yourself. When you go through a grieving process, one of the healthy things to do is to look at those memories about your son and to get memorials, especially with the kids, to have them to look at what are 2 or 3 things that you remember about your brother that you really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. Because now all of a sudden it takes you away from the intensity of the grieving process, and you get to a place where you can start laughing. You're like, boy, I tell you what, if Mike was here and saw that, I know he'll be falling out laughing at this time, or man, if he knew this, and those things become healthy.
Right.
So here's what I want to do right here on your world today, because you're inviting us into your world. Okay. I want you to talk to us about your son. Who was Michael Brown Jr.?
It was like watching a rose open up, because he started out really quiet and shy. Mm-hmm. And then when he turned about 16, he just really opened up and started talking to us about what he wanted to do, mm-hmm. and who he wanted to be, mm-hmm. and showed us different things on the level of he could be a leader, a big brother. He really showed me, like, when you at work, Mom, you don't have to worry about this. When I'm at home, like, I got this, it's everything okay. And after he mastered it, he went on to something else. That's how Michael was. Mm-hmm. And he was funny, and he was bright. And of course, like us all, we had some challenges in school, but he was growing up.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But he definitely wasn't a bad kid, not at all. He didn't deserve it.
Yeah. And do you find yourself asking the question, why do bad things happen to good people? How come it had to happen to somebody that has so much potential?
I definitely asked, why did it happen to my son?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first thing that came out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing we go through in life, we have a lot of whys, and we don't always get answers to all those whys. And sometimes it takes a lifetime for us to begin to understand what in the world what kind of good could have ever come out of my son having to go through this particular situation? And that's one of the things you understand. Dad, give me some of the memories you had of your son. Tell us about him.
Every memory keep a smile on my face. He was funny, you know. Yeah, he could eat.
He could eat?
Yeah, he could
Favorite
eat.
food?
Chicken, pizza.
Okay.
Pasta. Yeah, he could eat.
Yeah. The kind that you had to say, boy, don't go in that refrigerator.
If I go to sleep,
without my permission.
If I go into sleep, he done already been back. So, you know, he was the average teenager. He liked the girls. The newest things that come out, he was kind of like me. We get bored with stuff. You know, okay, we did that. All right, something new now.
Yeah, but that's a sign of an intelligent black man
Yeah.
who, once he masters something, desires to master something else, right? Once he would have achieved in one area, he's going to go to the next area, or he's going to end up owning it.
One or the other.
One or the other. He's going to be an entrepreneur. He's going to be somebody that's will own several businesses. I had to be prepared for everything as a black man. I figured, well, I'm going to be prepared for 7 different things. If this doesn't work out, I can do this. If this doesn't work out, I can do this. If this doesn't, and somebody said when I was growing up, I was the first black to integrate our elementary school, and somebody said back then, well, a black man got to work twice as hard to get where a white man is. Well, he'll be twice as prepared.
Right.
And that's what I'm hearing, and what it's doing for me, and hopefully for our audience. This is not just some black guy who died in the streets. Now, this was a human being who had a future,
Right.
who had aspirations,
Right.
who had dreams,
Right.
and had things that he wanted to accomplish. Because I don't ever want people to look at Michael Brown Jr.'s life as if it meant nothing. It meant everything.
Yes, it is.
It meant everything to his mom. It meant everything to his father. It meant everything to his family, his brothers and sisters, the people that knew him.
Right.
And it's hurtful and it's painful because it meant potential, and it also meant influence to other people and lives that would have been changed when they encountered your son.
Yeah.
And I want to make that clear. I think it's about time for us to lift up our black youth and black men around the world and to announce that you are precious, powerful, intelligent black men who can adapt to any situation, and you can walk with your head up, and you can look forward to being successful in your life, and you don't have to buy the lie that somebody prophesied over your life saying that you're nothing, because that's a lie. The most powerful man on the earth.
What I am concerned about is life. Black life is valuable. White life is valuable. The life of the policeman is valuable. It's valuable. The devil's been trying to cause a race war since the 1800s. Trying to cause a spirit of division magnified in hate. And it's the love of God that's going to take care of all of that.
I ministered on New Year's Eve concerning that life mattered. Black life matters. White life matters. Blue life matters. Life matters.
Yes.
And don't ever be so insensitive, and especially police departments all around the country. Don't ever be so insensitive to just say, well, he's dead, and then, try to say something to cover your tail. Be sensitive that a life was lost at your hands. My father was a police officer, and I remember the first time he had to use his firearm. It bothered him for weeks. And I'd like for the sensitivity to get back into the police department that says, okay, this happened, but don't cover yourself. I need you to hurt like you know that parent's gonna hurt. So you look to the legal system to maybe provide something. And, to be honest with you, whatever they would have provided, maybe it would have been something, but you would have still had to deal with what you're dealing with right now, because it still can't bring your son back, but at least you thought it would do something for me. It would give me something.
This is all the way wrong. All the way wrong. And he definitely did the wrong thing to the wrong person.
Yeah.
And I still don't know the wins or why. I mean,
When you showed up there, were you surprised of the response of the community? That they would even be concerned? Were you surprised?
when I got there, my eyes were fixed on, where's my son?
Oh, yeah.
That was my first thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after maybe about 3 days, when it really sunk into me, it was like, and then I started looking at pictures and things and was able to see all the people out there, because standing out there, you don't really see that.
And when you first got the word, what was, were you surprised of the response of the community?
But when I got out there, he was covered up at the time. They say he was laying out there. I still haven't seen all that. I don't want to see it. Looking through the crowd, to be honest, I was expecting to see him walk up, because I was still not believing that was him. So, I was just really just stunned in a daze,
A sense of, or a feeling of numbness?
I couldn't even tell you how I was feeling.
Yeah, yeah. What was his relationship with God and church and bringing up and all that?
As he got older, with his challenges, he was questioning himself about some things. And God answered him and came to him, and he became to understand. And so he started responding and, speaking on those things. And that's when I knew that he had got familiar with God.
Wow.
It came to him that when nobody else is there, he is there, and he's going to always be there.
I'm going to get ready to say something to y'all. This is going to really bring great peace to you. This is a temporary separation. We are spirit beings. We possess a soul, mind, will, and emotions, and we live in a physical body. When death takes place, your spirit and soul steps out of your body, and your body remains here, and then the family buries it. The body is where he used to live. His spirit and soul now is absent from the body and present with the Lord.
Yes.
Now, how can I say something like that? Now, religion tells you have to be flawless. You have to have this Christianity compulsive disorder. If you miss it here and if you miss it there, then God's mad at you and you're going to go to hell. Let me tell you something. The Bible says that we were made righteous because of one man's obedience. That was Jesus. And because of the one man's obedience, Jesus, we're made righteous not by our works, but what he did. And because of what Jesus did, your son was made righteous, and he gets into heaven not based on what he did, but based on what Jesus did.
That's right.
That's the grace of God. It's a temporary separation. The decisions you guys make to make Jesus the Lord of your life and to receive the grace that he gives you guarantees you that you'll see him again. I don't believe anything happens without God knowing it. I believe God knows everything before it happens. And before it happens, God prepares a lot of things before it even takes place. I'm telling you right now, you will see your son again. He is absent from the body. He is present with the Lord. And the grace of God not only got him where he is right now, but it's going to take care of the both of you. And I believe that it was significant in God's plan for you to be here with me today so that you can understand that your son is not dead, he's alive. Now, we miss him because he's not going to be here with us in that physical body. As you make a decision to receive God's grace into your life and receive the salvation package into your life, you're going to see your son again. And a lot of things you might not be able to understand right now about this whole situation and stuff, but I promise you, you will have an understanding one day of why it all happened. It may have all happened just to produce a passion to bring some necessary change.
Chosen for change.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all hear what he said? Chosen for change. For necessary. I would have never received the grace of God had Jesus never died on that cross. A lot of things. I want you to look at the future and what the future could bring. Down the street from our church, we have a school. The children heard about the story, the students. They were afraid because they felt like, are the policemen going to kill me too? Imagine that. They were afraid. And so those students got out and they participated in a march from their school to our youth building. And when we got them to the youth building, we started ministering to them. We had a policeman there to show them, you know, here are the rules, here are the regulations, here's right, here's wrong, and really to encourage them. I need you to understand that that day, an entire student body was changed because of the witness of your son. That's big. And the reason why it's big is now you're telling this story. They didn't know, nobody knows what you're sharing right now. They're hearing the person of Michael Brown Jr., and it becomes even more of an encouragement to kids. But you know that God's going to take this tragedy and bring light out of this tragedy. And somehow, like Mrs. King did, you guys are going to have to come together and say, now what do we do to keep this alive?
And if I could, Creflo, Chosen for Change, it's already impacting the legal system, what happened in Ferguson, and it's changing now.
Yeah.
You see that with Eric Gardner after Michael Brown. You see it in so many different cases all across America because of his parents and the community, this Michael Brown law, this notion that every police officer in every community in America is going to have video body cameras so it will be transparent of what happened when they have another interaction with a citizen. It's hard to deal with him being taken away, but it is impacting America.
You know, I think one of the great things about it is even though his body is in the grave, his life is still having impact. His life has probably saved other lives as a result of what he had to go through. And that's something pretty good to carry around with you, that we gave birth to a son that God loved enough and obviously prepared him enough to be able to change a whole nation. I mean, recently, just 3 situations where a body camera was worn by a policeman. They've indicted the policeman, charged them with murder, and they have evidence. One was in Los Angeles, California. One happened a couple of days ago. And the outcome is way different as a result of what's happened here. And I would just love for America to hear the Michael Brown law. You know, the Michael Brown law. Of course, your parents, all right? Something would be wrong with you if you could pick a date where you say, this ain't gonna bother me no more. There ain't nothing in the world that's gonna ever cause you to be all right with my son not being here. Right. But you're gonna have moments where you're gonna be extremely proud of him, extremely proud of what he stands for and the lives that have been impacted because of what he had to go through. You've been blessed with an awesome opportunity to have focus somewhere. And you've been blessed also to have this awesome opportunity to bring about a new focus to other people, especially the Black community. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for joining me today. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for the love that you had with your son, and thank you for raising him and loving him and putting in him what made him who he turned out to be. I thank God for your time with him, and I thank God for the focus that you have now to keep his legacy alive. And I say legacy, keep it alive because of the lives that were not only changed today because of the presence of both of you, but because of what it all means. And I would like to think that people got something from this broadcast that says life really does matter. Amen.
Our world is struggling, desperately searching for answers to the growing violence, tragedy, and pain surrounding us. Yet the solution is simple. The answer, the solution to our world's greatest challenges is an understanding of God's love. When we truly understand just how much God loves us, everything changes. Creflo Dollar Ministries is on a God-inspired mission to aggressively share the message of God's love with our world. And through broadcasts like you saw today with the parents of Michael Brown Jr., Creflo Dollar is speaking straight to the heart of our world's greatest challenges and providing answers, healing, and recovery. Yet, he cannot do it alone. We need your help. Will you say yes today? Will you do your part to reach our world with God's love? Call today with your ministry gift of just $10 to say, yes, I want to cover the earth with God's love. Your gift will go immediately to help this ministry continue its humanitarian outreaches, feeding programs, television broadcasts, and so much more, all around the globe. When you call with your support, Creflo Dollar will say thank you by sending you his groundbreaking book, The Power of God's Love for You, and a copy of his popular teaching entitled, God's Priority is Loving You. These resources will bless you as Creflo reveals his most in-depth teaching on just how much God loves you. When you call with a gift of $45, Creflo Dollar will send you The Power of God's Love for You book, the God's Priority is Loving You audio teaching, a copy of today's historic program with the family of Michael Brown Jr., and his revolutionary 4-disc series, The Shield of Love. As you make your way through each of the messages in this series, you'll gain a true understanding of just how much God surrounds you with His love and goodness all the time. You'll be totally set free from fear, insecurity, and so much more. These valuable resources are yours today for your financial gift and commitment to stand with this ministry to change the world through God's love, one life at a time. Make the decision today. Call now and say yes. Your life and your world will never be the same. Call now.
That's it for this edition of Your World, but make sure you come back next week for part 2 of this special conversation. Tell somebody, tweet about it, and tell your co-workers to tune in as we continue to speak into these very important issues. This program is about identifying areas in your world and finding practical solutions that can support you in moving forward towards your destiny. So call today to get the special collection you just heard about. I created it to help you become all God has created you to be. And when you call and support this program, you're helping continue my mandate, the mission to help people all around the world understand grace and be empowered to change. I'll see you next week.
Your love and financial support make it possible for this broadcast to be seen and heard in multiple languages on 6 different continents. We thank the partners and friends of Creflo Dollar Ministries for making this program possible.